Darshan Patel writes, my question is regarding possible movies made about hip-hop/rap artists after the success of Straight Outta Compton. There are already rumors of a movie about Tupac and Snoop Dogg. Do you think that this is a good idea? Can these types of movies be a thing for a couple of years if done right like S.O.C? If so, whose movie would you like to see? For me, it would be about the feud East Coast Biggie versus West Coast Tupac.
Yeah, I mean, all the ones that you mentioned there could be interesting. Generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of musician biopics, generally speaking. But, you know, NWA they transformed, you know, the genre, basically. They created a genre in many ways. They were so influential. And, you know, their story happens in a time of, you know, the civil unrest and how it all played in the background of what went on with the Rodney King incident and all that. That was just too rich of a story not to tell. And so a lot of the ones you mentioned could be cool, but for me personally, yeah, I think you have to go Run DMC. I mean, Run DMC, when you really think about it, who was the first rap group that white kids in Canadian high school would have heard of, or you know, that basically like people across our culture would be able to identify? Who's the first rap group that anybody in our culture could identify?
Run, DMC.
And Jam Master Jay.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the guys who put rap on the map for a lot of people who never really listened to or knew anything about rap. And it's all around the same era as Houdini and stuff like that.
Fat boys.
Oh my God, Fat Boys. Yeah, you need to stop that.
Yeah, I gotta work on that a little bit.
But I would go. And now, how far do you go? Do you just do like the rise of Run DMC? Do you go all the way to the death of Jam Master Jay? What do you do? Do you go up to now where they're doing like home cooking shows? I don't know how far you go with their story. But for me personally, I would go with a Run DMC story. I would go to see that movie. What do you think?
And you could also cast Aerosmith as themselves in the Run DMC story. They're all still alive and kicking.
Yeah, Run DMC put Aerosmith back on the map.
They did.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's totally true.
This way, yeah. I mean, I think the East Coast, West Coast, the Biggie versus Tupac story would be fascinating to me. I think that is a rich enough story to tell. You have to handle it delicately. It's got to be, I hate quoting Fox News, but it's got to be fair and balanced if you're talking about the East Coast versus the West Coast. And if they do that movie, get the guy who played Tupac in Straight Outta Compton to play Tupac in the movie. He sounded exactly like Tupac. I'd also like to see a Naughty by Nature biopic. How did they catch OPP? I would love to see the Baha Men story. Who did really let the dogs out first? And of course, I need to see how Sir Mix-a-Lot became so infatuated with big butts.
You know, true story. Up where I grew up in Hamilton, right by Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and the acronym for the Ontario Provincial Police is the OPP. Like whenever you're talking in conversation up there, you're talking about the OPP. And so when that song came out, a lot of us thought, why are like Los Angeles rappers singing about our provincial police department?
Yeah, we're down with OPP, you know, the police.
Totally. That's what we up there thought at first.
Popo, I'm down with them. I'm down with Public Enemy. I'd love to see
Public Enemy would be good.
A biography of that group and how they formed and what happened and how influential they were, and also Beastie Boys. I think you know, they're a group that also came up right around the same time as Run DMC, after Run DMC had just been around for about a year or two, and they would be great to see. I mean, I think a lot of those guys were covered in Crush Groove. Like Crush Groove actually did the unofficial Run DMC, you know, origin, and also include a lot of these other rappers into that origin story. Notorious was already done with B.I.G. So I think mining some of these things, I mean, I'd love to see like a TV miniseries. I mean, my girlfriend Holly, after we saw Straight Outta Compton, was like, I'd like to see this as an actual television series because there's so much story there. It's so rich. It's like, you know, that would be cool. Not just a documentary, but actual like an autobio that would go over the years, you know.